Let's get it started by going to the settings of our N8N community nodes, and let's install a new node. Clicking on install, and this is the actual node name we are going to install, so I drop that here, check this checkbox and click on install, and what it should do in the background is installing the npm package and make that ready for me. So the latest version is 0.16, so we are correct, using the correct version. So if we go back to our workflow, I have Airbnb scraper demo. So what I'm going to do is adding a new node, looking for Airbnb scraper, add that here, pick scrape data. So next step is we should go to scraper.shortrentals.ai and adding our name and email and get a token. So my token got generated here, so I copy the token, click on credential, drop the token here, and it worked. So the next step for me is define which listing I want to scrape. Let's say, for example, in Miami, I wanna pick, for example, this listing. So this is the ID of this Airbnb listing. I drop that in the listing ID. You can define the amount of time you want to wait for the endpoint to respond back with the data. If not, you can set that as default. So let's define the default value here. And I click on execute setup. So let's wait and give it some time. This is going to take a minute or two until it is scrape the listing data. So let's give it some time and get back when the data is ready. Excellent. So the processing is done. If I go here, I see it took around 81 seconds, so a bit more than 1 second. And when I click on this node, so I get a lot of data about this listing. What is the listing ID, URL, title, description, images, host profile ID, who is the host, how many reviews they got. If the location is provided, we get the location about this host. For example, if they define their work, where they work, etc., you can use that for your outreach processes. If there is any co-host, you get that here. Maximum number of guests, bedrooms, bathrooms, if this is guest favorite, superhost, where is the location, pricing. Right now we didn't define any date in the backend in our system, that's why the pricing is null. We can set that up as well to be able to define some date to be able to get the pricing, but right now we are not supporting pricing. Review a score, so you get the overall score, the cleanness, accuracy checking, communication, amenities, reviews, all the reviews about this listing, you get all of them here. So I'm going to scroll down, and the rules. When is the checking, checkout, if this listing lets you to do self-checking, and max number of guests, if it's pet friendly, what are the quiet hours, etc. So now sky is your limit. You can add any nodes you want here. For example, you can add, if this is something we've done already, is I find the host profile, I use OpenAI to process the about the host, and if they mention where they work, next we scrape that, we extract that, and use Perplexity to find phone number and email address of the property management company, for example, they mentioned in about, and link that to a Gmail or other email node to be able to do some cold outreach to this host. So this is how this works. What we are doing here is providing raw material for B2B businesses who are working in short-term rentals market to give them some way to be able to get information about listings, to define, for example, how many listings exist in some area, what are the average reviews, etc. So the sky is the limit. The number of use cases are really different, and you can do a lot of stuff with this data provided by this node.